joy and sadness, nostalgia and envy. You are now tuned in to the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Mike TV.
And that's Jen Diz.
Today we are getting real emo as we talk about our emotions inside and out of Disney parks. From the joy of meeting beloved characters to the nostalgia of classic films, we'll explore the full spectrum of emotions at Disney. First up, I wanted to say a huge thank you to all of you who left us a review and a rating on our Apple podcast page. I'm not really sure where else you can leave reviews. I think that's the main place that really helps podcasters. So thank you guys so much. I had put out a birthday shout out. I was like, you know what? Desperate measures here. I'm having a bad birthday. I just want something to make me smile. And you guys came through as always. I love you guys so much. So thank you for making my birthday. Yeah. Oh, he's got some ASMR here. I've got a little plastic bottle.
Real sound effects today. Crunchy bottle.
There you go. That's right.
I'm using a Stanley cup. So I get it. I finally get it.
I was gonna say you fell into it, huh?
So I'm borrowing it from my friend Stacy. Shout out. She doesn't listen, but it's okay. And I totally get it. It's so sturdy, hardy, keeps things cold, and it has a nice little straw thingy.
I can't with those straws. Those are the number one reason why I'll never get one of those.
It's kind of weird, right?
It grosses me out too much. I just can't. I always have the wide mouth ones. I can't unless I could see that I'm cleaning it. I don't want nothing.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It's a dark tunnel that you don't know is clean or not.
Yeah. But okay, if it works for you, it works for you. Now you're gonna buy like 7 of them in your favorite colors and the Disney ones if they have them. I don't know if they have a Disney partnership.
Disney got smart and they basically ripped them off and they sell their version of it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know if it's engineered as high quality as the Stanley Cup. I doubt it.
I wonder.
But I think it's
the price points are too.
Yeah, still expensive.
I'd feel like if it's Disney plus Stanley prices, it'll be like $100.
Right? I would be tempted if it was a true collabo, I think.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, we were just talking about ASMR. We have some more acronyms here. We have the AARP Club.
You just joined?
Can't believe it. What'd you say?
Did you just join the AARP?
You know, my birthday just happened. Thank you for bringing that up. It is so sweet of you. No, I am not old enough for the AARP yet. Thank you very much. However, we did just have a retirement we celebrated here. My brother retired a little early.
Oh.
But what do you think the normal retirement age is? When you hear retirement, what do you think?
65.
65, right?
Yeah. And usually that's what triggers a lot of the like HR stuff. Actually, that's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, your HR brain turns on.
Yeah.
Right, 65.
I don't know what it counts for, like Denny's senior menu. I don't know what the age is there or what they look for.
I think it's much younger, actually.
Right? 55, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah.
And do they card you?
What, do they card you?
Yeah.
I would hope so, to make sure that I'm, because they think I'm too young. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
there you go.
When the time comes, like, there's no way. That's what I'm going to cross my fingers for. Anyways, so I want to say happy birthday to, hey, can you hold it up, please?
Oh,
good Lord. Speaking of AARP, my brother is making a cameo on the show today after I just told him I was going to be recording. Thanks, brother. Anyways, he's yelling about Denny's because he's hearing us talk about it.
Happy retirement to him. Also, I thought you were yelling at Harold, the abominable snowman from Matterhorn.
Thank you for bringing it back. Yes, it is the 65th birthday of Matterhorn Submarines and the monorail, the trifecta. Can you believe 65 years? It just seems like so crazy. So I'm going to keep adding these attractions that have crossed this AARP level to that club there.
I just put it together. Okay, that makes sense.
65 years for those 3. My gosh.
Now, does that mean it should retire. Remember on one of the most recent episodes, perhaps last week, we like armchair imagineered the Matterhorn mainly because the track is so painful.
Yeah, maybe it does need a retirement
Does it need to
package.
retire? Yeah.
They need
Whoops.
to make the incentive a little like better or something. I don't know what's going on over there, but
Yeah.
oh my gosh, yes. So yeah, so that just happened right after my birthday. I don't think I ever realized that they're so close to my birthday, but now it makes sense because I'm usually in the park during the celebration for that. Like I've seen
Um,
the little like photo ops they have out and everything going on for the anniversary, but then I don't know why I've seen it so many times now. I'm like, oh, because I'm there for my birthday, right? So, anyways, happy birthday to Tomorrowland. What a change that would must have been 65 years ago to have like the whole land come to life. Like that's a big
yeah.
update, those three things, right? So,
And at the time, they had to, I'm assuming, temporarily close the skyway to build the Matterhorn tip around it, right? That's crazy.
ah, I'm gonna look this up. Did
Matterhorn
it come
wasn't
out
opening,
after?
was it?
It seems like it would be hard to build around.
In my mind,
56. No, you're right. It was already
yeah.
there.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, they must definitely have to close that
So
down.
it's like when we've seen in our generation, it was like the railroad was closed for Galaxy's Edge. So there were some fans saying, oh man, can't get on the Skyway until this
Mm-hmm.
new whatever mountain is finished.
Right, right,
Weird. That's
exactly.
so weird.
That is very weird. But yeah, the Matterhorn, now I'm thinking about it, is actually Fantasyland, right?
It is. Yes, it
And
is.
then the submarines are Tomorrowland,
Tomorrowland,
but they
right?
feel Fantasyland.
Yeah.
They're like right there too, you know?
They're
Like,
both on the edge, on the
yeah.
cusp.
Oh my goodness. Well, as you heard in our intro today, we are going to be talking about a lot of emotions. And that's because Inside Out 2 just came out. Now, I wanted
Yeah.
to see, Mike, have you gotten to see Inside Out 2 yet?
I did. I watched it on Sunday in Dallas, Texas, when I was there for a layover, and it all worked out. My flight got delayed, and I was like, okay, I have time to kill. Let's go watch Inside Out 2 at the AMC over there. And I was so glad that I got to watch it, especially in theaters here in the US. And then I haven't been to the movies in a while since I moved to Mexico. So it was a lot, there were a lot of trailers that I actually haven't seen on the big screen. So it was a great movie going experience
Oh,
all
cool.
around. Yeah.
Nice. I had 100% planned to see it by now. I have not. So
You haven't?
I totally thought I was going to be able to, and things just did not work out the way that I thought they were going to over the weekend. So I have not seen it yet, but I will see it very soon. I'm very excited to see it actually. So I'm just
Fair
like
enough.
waiting for things to work out to where I can go disappear in a movie theater for a couple hours. So hopefully that'll be this week. But since you've seen it, can you give us a quick spoiler-free review?
Yes. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 hearts stars.
Aw,
5 out of 5 uh what core memories.
there you
Whatever
go.
whatever type of thing you want to insert there. It gets 5 out of 5 of all the things. So it is classic Pixar. It is what I've been missing for years. It's the
Aw,
classic animation style of Pixar that we like fell in love with. I still haven't gotten used to that like Aardman one they've been doing for like Luca and Turning Red.
an
So
onward, like a kind of
onward.
right, yeah.
So yeah, this brings it back to classic Pixar, and it kind of has to because it follows the aesthetic of the first film, Inside Out.
Hmm.
Um, it's so creative beyond, and it's so clever. You could also tell that they probably had so many ideas that they couldn't fit into it because there were so many ways that they could relate the inside of your mind's emotions to a adolescent girl who turned 13 going through puberty, which was the perfect like follow up to seeing her as a child, Riley, in the first one. It was inevitable that she's going to become a teenager.
Hmm.
And so that's really what this one is about. And they just nailed it. So there are some points where I was thinking how Turning Red, so if you remember that, that was also about a girl coming of age. And they even talked about what it's like to have your period and all that in Turning Red. This one is similar in the way where if I was a kid, I would like this to be my educational tool for how to navigate my emotions as an adolescent going through puberty. I would definitely
Cute.
reference Inside Out too. I mean, what we had as kids were like books and really old videos, like shown
Yeah,
by
like
a
really bad classes that
PE
they'd
teacher
show
would
from the
do it.
70s or something.
Yeah, yeah. It was like the coach, badminton coach would do it, roll in the TV. Um, I remember side note, sidetrack squirrel in I went to Newark Memorial. Shout out to our Bay Area friends. And they did this thing. It was no, I this must have been Newark Junior High, like seventh grade, because they were trying to get kids who were going through puberty, and they brought this like off-Broadway group into the gym to perform something called Nightmare on Puberty Street. Do you remember this at
What? I
all?
know.
Yeah, I need to do a deep dive on that. It was a really weird
Nightmare on
play. It
Puberty
was like a
Street.
play. It was a musical. They had like jungle gym things that they were. I mean, it was like a full-on Broadway
Where
show
was it at? Was it in the theater or was it
in
in
the
the
gym.
in the gym?
In the gym, and it has stuck with me for all this time. But I guess, that was the innovative way at the time to show that. I don't. It wasn't that
Hilarious.
memorable. I just remember the name of it because it's bizarre. So, anyways, the generation now gets the joy, pun intended, of having Inside Out part two, as this really cool reference. And so when you're a teenager, there are new emotions that come up that are not just the OGs that we've seen. And they did a really good job adding them with purpose, not just
Oh, okay.
adding them to add them. Like they were part of the story, and the story couldn't continue during each scene if you didn't have that emotion to reference. So yeah, I'm so impressed because sequels could go either way. It also tells me that Pixar is really good at sequels, maybe the best, because they always say we are not going to make
It's a
one.
really good point.
Yeah, they're so thoughtful, and they say we're not going to do it unless we have a good story. This was maybe nine
Okay.
years, I think 6 years, 9 years. I don't know, 12 years. I don't know the math.
From the
Let me look
last
at
one?
it. Yeah, I mean they really took their time. It wasn't announced until they even had a story. I don't think they even planned on making a sequel, and so I like that. I appreciate that. Um, and it shows. It shows that it was really thoughtful. 2015 it came out. Yeah, so 9 years for a
Wow.
sequel, which almost follows. Riley, the main character, is
I was gonna say,
13
is that her
now.
age gap? No, a little
Kind
bit
of, more or
off on a
less,
couple years.
yeah. But I think it probably follows anyone who was a kid when that came out, and they're more of a young adult now, so it could be interesting for them
Very true.
too. But yeah, overall, 5 out of 5. Well done, very creative, classic Pixar animation. Uh, everything was just high quality,
Aw.
and the animation. I mean, Pixar is the goat of computer animation. I mean, they were the first ones to make a feature film with Toy Story, and they've taken it to another level because they're already pros at what they do, and what they introduce in Inside Out 2 is a little bit of what I know you, Jen, really loved about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. There's
Yeah.
other animation styles in it, and I won't spoil
Wait, they did
why.
that on the first one too. I actually just rewatched it and
Oh,
I had
really?
forgotten about the abstract thinking area. Do you remember
Oh
that?
my
And they would like
gosh, yeah.
burst into different types of stylizations. They were talking about all the different like things your brain does with
Yeah.
like
And it's like very
decoding
like
things.
geometric shapes. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. So they up that in this.
Okay. Okay.
And it's also within context, like it's just so perfect. Oh my God, I wish I could say it. All the things. Yeah, it's just so great. It's so good. And watching the movie the whole time as a Disney holic, I kept thinking, why do we not have an attraction yet? Like this story and the sets and the concept is so ripe for an attraction, like especially at Epcot, it's like edutainment. So
Yes.
hopefully, imagine at D23 they announce something. High hopes, but
Well, okay. First of all, do you remember that we do have an attraction for Inside Out?
yes, the Flix flyers. Yes, I did not forget about that. Emotional whirlwind.
Didn't even bother
I
carrying.
appreciate it. But yeah, they don't
But
even have the
I have to
balls to move
say,
around.
I remember seeing in the trailer for Inside Out 2, and I don't even remember if I saw, or maybe it was while I was rewatching the first one, but they actually show this. Oh, it wasn't the first one. It was when they were showing this big scene with Fear. He's running around during the hockey game trying to like get the memory orbs in, and you see that they actually from their command center are in the brain, and they have the two giant eye
Like the
screens.
screens,
Like,
yeah.
can we please get Cranium Command to be like, what are they doing? It's just sitting there still, right? And
I
it's
think
still like
so.
there.
Yeah.
And it's literally built to look just like that. It's almost like they made it for that attraction. Like,
It's the perfect follow-up to that ride. And they
yeah,
could totally do a lot of Easter eggs for the OG ride. Yeah, it's very much the same every time they're in the office room thingy.
it would be perfect for Epcot, perfect for that. They already have the room, like the attraction, the queue, everything. Like, let's just do it. And they can make, I think they're in the same building as Body Wars and a couple other things in there and like a festival area. They could change that into like a whole Pixar like command center. I don't know, something cool in there. They could do something really, really neat with. Fun.
And you know
Down.
why they might do it and they might announce something at D23. They have plenty of reason to because over this weekend, opening
Uh-oh.
weekend, it made several records, but two highlights are it's the second biggest domestic here in the US animated box office opening of all time.
Of all
Of
time.
all time, second biggest. Guess what number one was?
Avatar. Is it not considered
Oof, that's
animated?
not considered animation. Yikes. Should be though.
Frozen? Animated. Hold on, let me think. Let me think.
I'll
Is
say
this
it's Pixar.
it's Pixar?
It's Pixar.
Toy Story 3.
Incredibles 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
And then Inside Out 2 this past weekend, according to Disney, is now the biggest global animated box office opening of all time, number one.
Wow.
So I could
That's
see them
crazy.
saying, all right, let's make a ride.
I
It's
do
time.
remember Incredibles 2 being a big deal because it had been so long since the first
Yeah.
one. Remember
And
that?
that's another one they took their time until they had something to tell, a real
Right.
story. And
Don't
then
forget
Inside
Pixar.
Out 2, aside from my 5 out of 5, it is getting so much praise. It has an A
Oh.
cinema score, Rotten Tomatoes of 96% right now. So yeah, all signs are pointing to let's invest in this. Please put it in the parks. We need
I
it.
think even the audience score was really high too. Like I think it's like
Yeah,
95, 96 for both of them.
so good.
That's awesome. Well, I've heard from some people that keep telling me to make sure I stick around for the credits. So can you give us a little nudge on what's going on there?
Yeah, I would say there's a little bit of a like a mid stinger, whatever you call it, and then one at the very, very end. So stick around for both. The they're cute. I don't think they make like if you missed it and had to watch it on YouTube, I think it would be okay.
Okay.
In fact, well, let me say two things with the credits. The credits themselves, the actual credits, are amazing. I really like to watch Pixar's one because they're like one of the first studios that I've seen put production babies on. I've seen it more and more now, but they show all the babies that were born during the years and years
Oh, yeah,
of
that's very
production. You get to
cute.
see all these fun names, and it's fun to see like the names that are like trending at the time.
That's very HR of you to like that.
Yes, I'm like, what's that? Oh, and speaking of HR, the other thing I got giddy about, they had a people team credit section with all the people team members.
Oh,
And they even use the term people team instead of HR. I was so happy for those people that get to be celebrated
that's
on there.
awesome.
So yeah, it was a very long list of credits, which is why I'm saying if you don't stick around, it's okay. But there is a fun thing at the very end that kind of I will say answers a question that was asked about halfway through the movie.
Oh,
So if you want to stick around for
interesting.
that,
Usually that's like either alluding to a sequel
right?
or like just something random that leaves you curious, but answering a question that you didn't get from the film, that's unique. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
there's like a fun gag that happens midway through the movie, not critical to the plot, so you kind of forget about it, and then you know, you see at the end.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So I'm going to sit through the entire movie and the credits and the post and mid credit scenes, all of the above. Nice.
Oh, speaking of what to sit through, there is no short film, Pixar short before this. And
Huh.
that's the only thing that I've been seeing online that Disney fans are questioning or not complaining about, but that's like the only negative thing. It's not even negative, but it's like, wait, what happened? We're used to it. So yeah,
Huh.
I guess they stopped doing that, or maybe just for this one. But I was looking forward to seeing something
Something new
unrelated to
too.
Inside Out right before. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because they're so popular, they get their own spot, you know?
Yeah, so I thought they would do that. But they had so many good trailers that I was just gasping. Like Moana 2 on the big screen, I'm sold. It's beautiful. Like the animation is not lower quality or anything that I was worried about since it was originally supposed to be a Disney Plus thing. It's like it looks like a feature film. So they showed that trailer, which was very exciting.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Um, did they show any for any upcoming other like branches of Disney, like Marvel and stuff like that?
Weird. Yeah, no Marvel, nothing Marvel. They didn't, well, I guess Deadpool's rated R, so they didn't put that.
Yeah, it's like too much. I was wondering about
Yeah,
that.
they didn't put that one. Um, they did show just a lot of other like family oriented trailers. There's a new Transformers fully animated film coming out called Transformers 1. And for animation fans, it's beautiful and it's already getting rave reviews. People are saying it's better than the live action movies. So that kind of caught me off guard. I was like, what is this Transformers movie? But it looks fun and it's like a prequel and it reminds me more of the cartoon. So I think it's going to get all the grown-ups that watch the cartoon.
Yes.
Yep, they're
It's
going to
going
like
to
this one.
call on our nostalgia emotion and
Uh-huh.
bring it in. And
Yep.
speaking of emotions, in Inside Out 2, we got to meet a few new emotions. We had the old ones there, which are joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. But we got almost the same amount, if not, it is the same amount. Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we got double the emotions now going into puberty. So
Yeah.
we have anxiety, envy, embarrassment, nostalgia, and
Ennui.
that's not how you pronounce it, is it?
Ennui.
I
Yeah.
have not known this whole time.
Yeah. And they know that nobody knows how to pronounce it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they address it in the
Yep.
film.
Yep.
That's cute. So I
It is
looked
a
up
French
the
word, right? I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean it looks like it. It's Ennui, so ennui, ennui,
Uh-huh.
ennui. The definition says a feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction arising from a lack of occupation or excitement. So like boredom, right?
Exactly that. So I watched a lot of interviews with the filmmakers, and they basically said, yeah, the original idea started with boredom, and then they realized there's a more layered version, and then it can be funny with the story. So they ended up going with the French emotion
Ah,
of
okay.
ennui. And a good way to think of it is just think of like a teenager who nothing excites them. You're like trying to get them to go out or do something, or you get them a new gift that they were just excited about 2 years ago, and now they don't care about it.
I was
That
thinking about
that's what
this.
it is. Yeah.
I was like, when did I first start experiencing boredom? Was it not until I was a teenager? Maybe. Because
Yeah.
before, like, just everything was exciting. It's just always stuff. You're like a little kid still, and just everything you look at is bright and shiny, right? So,
And I think it's gotten only worse with smartphones. Like just imagine those
oh, I
kids,
bet.
everyone just on their screens. That's
I bet.
and they're
Yeah.
not excited about anything else. They're just in their own thing. So yeah, they do a good job introducing that. And I will say, without any spoilers, you had mentioned anxiety, envy, embarrassment, nostalgia, and ennui. One of them is not really a full-on character, and I'll just say that.
It's not really a full on character. What?
Yeah, like they're not really there. It's better if you just find out.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
leave that one then. But I'm very curious what that means.
And then some other fun facts behind the scenes. For Envy, I was watching an interview with the director, and he said they originally started out with twins. It was going to be jealousy and oh shoot, and something else. But then they realize, okay, let's just make it envy because the definition is actually more layered, whereas envy is an internal emotion because it's within yourself. You're thinking, I want what that person has, which
Right.
is kind of different than some of the other things. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. They were so perfectly thoughtful about which
I love it.
emotions to bring in and why and how it has to do with a teenager.
Doesn't that feel
Um,
so good knowing like that you almost feel like taken care of when you see how much time and effort people put into like thoughtfulness went behind
yes.
creating any of this stuff that we love at Disney, right? Pixar, any of the stuff, like attractions, experiences, just all of the above. There's like endless links that they've gone to make sure that they've thought it all through. And then we don't really have questions either. We just get to enjoy it. It's not like, oh, why
Yeah.
wasn't this like this? Like, oh, they already have the answer for that.
It's so smart. And I will even say, give a shout out to our friend Claudia. She DM'd me after I posted my review on Instagram, kind of just saying, like, was this movie made for kids or adults? Because there are so many things that happen with the new character emotion of anxiety that is still relatable, teenager or not.
I bet,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
then just
mean,
the way if Matt, oh my gosh, I have so much to say that it's hard without spoilers. But one other thing I was thinking throughout this movie was I would love to see a rated R version of this through a serial killer and what their emotions inside.
oh my gosh, that just
Like,
got real dark all of
right,
a sudden.
yeah,
All right.
like because these are all like family friendly characters, but what does a bad person, what does their emotional control center do in there, and how do
Yeah,
they
and
make
there's a
decisions?
lot of documentaries out there for that, but if you want to see a Pixar cute version, maybe AI can build it
Right?
out for you.
And like where is joy? Are they just like tied up in the back or something? Like there's so many interesting things that my mind was
That's
going
very
to,
true.
yeah, when I was watching this. And then when you there's a good mix
Oh
in
my
this movie
gosh.
of the real world, where you get to see Riley and the new characters, her friends, but then you also see a lot of inside, of course, and they show newer places that we didn't see in part one that exist in your mind, and all of them again ripe for theme park attractions. But they introduce one, and I'm gonna say it because I don't think it's a spoiler at all.
Okay.
It's just such a clever pun, and it's not a new emotion; it's a new environment,
Okay.
and it's just genius. So they're trying to get from point A to point B for reasons you'll find out. But then they come across like a cliff and a big hole, a chasm, a sarcasm. It's so good.
That's very
It's
cute.
so good. And then I'll stop there. You'll see what happens, why it's called that. Oh, it's genius. Like I just imagine these writers like giving themselves high fives and they come up
Yeah,
with these
I
ideas.
always think about that when I hear something like that. I'm just like, can you imagine the room when somebody came up with that? Like they're like, yes, like
Yes.
that's it.
So perfect. So perfect.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah, so tons of new environments, new characters, and most of the real world characters, or I mean, it's all animated, but you know what I mean, outside Everhead, tons of new characters there because she goes to hockey camp, which you see in the trailer. So
Okay. My
yeah.
gosh.
Oh wait, one more
Well,
thing. Oh my gosh, I can't stop talking about it. One more thing is they know. Okay, I don't know whose algorithm sees this, but it's in my algorithm. The father in Inside Out as like a DILF. He's really popular as a DILF online, like memes and
I
stuff.
did not know that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So I don't know if it's just the gays or what, but he always comes up, and he's handsome. He's definitely a DILF, and they played on that. They knew that
What?
the public knew about it, and there's
Stop.
there's a thing. There's like just an Easter egg that if you know, you know, and you pick it up. And then I was second guessing it, and then I looked, and people were like, a lot of people were pointing it out and talking about it.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Smart,
my gosh. That's heck
yeah,
of funny.
so good, so good.
As you're talking about all of this, I keep thinking about all the other emotions that we have, especially as adults. Maybe like there's tons of sequel opportunities for
Yeah,
Inside Out too, or not
you,
Inside Out 2, but Inside Out in general. Like there's just endless. Like, where's love? We haven't even crossed love yet or any of that
right.
kind of emotion. So, huh. I love it. They they've picked something that they can just run with if they need to or if they want
Yeah,
to.
there's just
And
it's
again,
so
sounds like they're
creative.
purposeful, so it sounds like they won't be ridiculous, but they'll do
Yeah,
it if it makes sense.
sort of like what we saw Andy grow up in Toy Story. Maybe we'll see
Right.
Riley keep growing up, and we'll see how
Yeah.
her mind changes. Um, one thing that I was not expecting was one of the voice actors were changed, and I didn't do any research to find out why. But Mindy Kaling, who I really like, she's funny. She originally voiced Disgust, but they got a new voice actor for that. I couldn't tell until I was looking at recaps and saw that, but
Huh.
just random fact.
I wonder. Yeah, I always think that they don't want the role because of something like how Jessica Rabbit thought it wasn't going to do well and she didn't want her name
Yeah,
on there or something, you know? I'm like, okay, what did she think? Because the first one did really well too. So
yeah. She's
that's
like,
even
maybe
weirder to not come back for the sequel.
I don't think it needs a sequel. Yeah, I don't know. And with voice acting, it's easier to fit into someone's schedule, I assume. So it couldn't have been a scheduling conflict, but I don't know. I'm just making
Huh.
assumptions. Mindy, what's up? Come on our show. Tell us
Mindy,
why.
please email us or send us a DM on Instagram at the Disney Holics. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Well, I thought I would take us on a few emotional roller coasters today and just share our own emotions around some things that we're very familiar with in Disney parks, in Disney culture, Disney in general, and even maybe outside of Disney. It doesn't necessarily have to stay within Disney as well, but I put together three little, I don't even call them games. It's just like more of like a sharing session, I guess, because we're going to talk about our
Ooh, okay.
emotions here. So the first one is name a Disney character that you believe embodies each of these emotions. So I was
Oh,
thinking about it, like, we've all known and loved Disney characters before Pixar was even a thing. Like, what Disney characters that are classic that we can think of that really fit these different emotions? So, with that said, I'm going to name them out
okay.
and you tell me what you think, and I'm going to share mine as well.
Ooh,
So, the
okay.
first on the list is joy. What Disney character embodies joy?
And clearly we can't use the real ones. The
Yeah,
inside out ones.
please.
Okay, it's so hard. All I see is her face, and I just hear Amy Poehler in my ear right now. Joy, I would say, also a Pixar person or thing is Dory from Finding Nemo.
Aw.
And the reason why is because of her short-term memory, everything exciting, even if she
Yeah,
doesn't
she's
knew
like
about it.
blissfully
Yeah,
ignorant, like
exactly. And
ignorance is
so,
bliss.
yeah, I'd say Dory.
Okay, all right. I picked Mickey Mouse because I
Oh,
just feel
yeah.
like I guess he's not always joyful, but like he brings that joy out of people. So I picked Mickey Mouse for joy.
Oh, and he's and similar to Joy from Inside Out, like he's responsible for making the joy happen,
Exactly.
like
Yeah. Yep.
keeping it up. Oh, that must be exhausting, Mickey.
Oh, poor guy. He's like working nonstop. Can you imagine? Like, I know when I'm hosting something and I have to be like on stage, quote unquote. And then as soon as I get backstage, I'm like, ugh, like exhausted. I need to recharge the social battery kind of thing. Can you imagine poor
Yep.
Mickey after he's off work for the day? Woo, that guy.
Wow. Minnie better rub his feet, his mouse
You
feet.
better get a foot rub and a back rub every single night. That is for sure. Sadness.
The first thing that comes to mind is Bambi.
Oh,
I think he's forever traumatized by hearing his mother get shot by the hunter.
yeah. Oh my God, that's very sad. Well, the first thing that popped in my head, I feel like probably a lot of people thought of too, is Eeyore.
Oh yeah, duh. Okay, yeah.
Eeyore. And I also typed this on my notepad and it says eyesore. So it must have I
Oh,
autocorrected
corrected it
Eeyore
to
to
eyesore.
eyesore,
And when I was watching Inside
which is
Out,
also sad.
eyesore. What an eyesore. Sadness from Inside Out has moments that she definitely was giving me Eeyore. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
see that.
she's kind of like real slow and especially the dances we've been seeing from the Pixar Fest, it's very Eeyore. It's hilarious though. I love it.
Oh, sadness.
Okay, anger.
Anger. Frollo. Judge Claude Frollo.
Ooh, it's a very good one.
Hellfire.
Hell, like literally hellfire.
Yeah. He's lost his mind. He's just angry, rageful, taking it out on everybody else, projecting all of his inner fears. Yeah.
I'm
Claude Frollo.
surprised you didn't
Hunchback.
go with Cruella because that was the first person I thought of because her crazy
Ooh.
angry face.
She does have angry face. I think with Cruella, I think of Fabulous first, and then yeah. Oh, I'm like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she's a villain. Scary.
I actually picked someone else though instead because I realized this as I was thinking about it, and I'm like, wait, this one takes a cake for me, and this is why this one I am not in love with, and a lot of people love him. It's Donald Duck.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's constantly having a fit.
He's so upset all the
Yeah,
time. But in the park, he is so cute. Like he's having the best day ever every time he's in the park.
that's
So,
true. It's because we're there.
yep, that's why.
Yeah,
He's just
yeah.
happy to see us. Yep, that's it. Okay, how about fear?
Fear. Wow. Fear. Hmm. What was your answer? I'm gonna keep thinking about it.
Okay, I chose Piglet.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
Piglet it was has always I've always said Piglet is one of the reasons for my anxiety, but when I really think about it, I feel like he's just scared of everything. So I put him in the fear category instead. I originally had him as anxiety. But yeah, I think he's a little more fearful than
Fear.
anxious.
Um,
And that guy drives me crazy too, just like Donald Duck. I don't like either of them. They're like they make me crazy. Can't have it.
but yeah, the emotions, they're projecting it onto you.
Yes. I'm too much of an empath for this.
Fear. This one's hard. I'm trying to think when I
That's
think of
funny.
Disney and fear. Because I'm thinking of, yeah, like you said, Piglet, like someone who is afraid, not someone who
Uh-huh.
I fear, right? Yeah. Someone who's
I mean, I
afraid.
guess it could kind of go both ways. As we talked about that with joy, because joy is joyful and projects joy on people.
Ah,
Maybe you could figure out one that's a little bit of both.
fear.
I
I'm
think
trying to
that
think.
all villains are probably fearful, right? Even though they don't show it.
Ovulins? The what?
Who?
What did you say?
Did you say opulent?
Yeah, I did.
Is this RuPaul's all of a sudden?
RuPaul's
What's going
Drag
on? Yeah.
Race. Fear. I'm gonna say this one's a little bit weird, but I have a reason for it. I'm gonna say Rapunzel because she was afraid and believed that everything outside the tower she should be fearful of because she was brainwashed
Very
to do
true.
that. And I'm thinking of fear from Inside Out. He's a fraidy cat of everything. So in a way, fear is the emotion that kept tangled, that kept Rapunzel trapped in that
Yeah,
tower. Yeah.
very true.
So that makes yeah fear. I'll think of Rapunzel.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, disgust.
Disgust. Hmm.
Tell you mine while you're
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. What's
And
yours?
I'm not sure if this one fits this one super well. However, his face has like utter disgust on it most of the time, and it's Jafar. He just looks like,
Yeah.
ugh, he's just
Yeah.
over everything and everyone around him all the time.
I'm gonna go with that one also because he gives me like it's almost like a drag performance. He's so
Yes.
exaggerated. And yeah, he makes that face like he's
He's like, ugh.
too good for everything. Like
Yes,
ugh,
totally.
gross. Yeah, I like that. Jafar for disgust.
All right, and now we're moving into our newer emotions. So we have anxiety.
Okay, similar to what you were saying with Winnie the Pooh's characters, anxiety to me is Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh because
Oh,
right, he's always fearing what could happen,
oh, his little
which
ears are always down because he's going,
yeah, and
he's
he's
scared.
always thinking something's going to happen. So then he also doesn't really like to leave his garden, and he thinks everyone's going to mess up his garden all the
Yeah, he's
time.
like agoraphobic. Like
Yeah, yeah, very yeah. That gives me an anxious rabbit there.
that's funny because I also picked a rabbit, but I picked the white rabbit because he's like, I'm gonna be
Yeah,
late. He's like
yep.
stressing out all the time. He's like always thinks something's gonna go wrong. So I
I'm late.
picked the
I'm late.
white
I'm
rabbit.
late.
Envy.
Easy. This one is Vanessa slash Ursula,
Ooh, I put Ursula on
right?
mine.
Yep. From Little Mermaid. Yeah, she does all these spells because I think she's envious of people who found love. And
Yeah.
then she literally tried to steal Prince Eric by transforming into Vanessa. Pure envy right there.
And
Yeah.
she wanted Ariel's voice, obviously
Yes.
very
Yep.
bad. So very envious.
Your voice.
Your voice and your body language.
Dun, 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 dun.
This one was a little hard for me. Embarrassment.
Embarrassment. Hmm.
I could only come
What's
up with
yours?
even one thought around this one, and it's Cinderella. And I haven't seen the movie in so long that I can't remember if she was actually embarrassed, but I think she was because she was like held to be like peasant level when her sisters were all royalty, right? Like all like beautiful dresses, and she was like left in like the scrubs kind of thing. So I think that she may have gotten embarrassed at some point.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like she felt like she wasn't good enough.
Yeah, and like they were trying to embarrass her all the time. Like the stuff they'd say to her, it was like belittling, and that's embarrassing.
So mean.
Heck of mean.
Um, I don't think mine fits, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Is the dormouse from Alice in Wonderland? But I think he was just drunk,
He was wasted.
right? Yeah,
That
that's why
guy,
he kept going hiding in the back in the pot
he
with.
should be embarrassed.
Yeah,
He'll be embarrassed
shame,
tomorrow
shame.
when everyone starts telling him how he's acting. That's what happened. All right, nostalgia.
I'm gonna say nostalgia is father from Carousel of Progress.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that's
and he
perfect.
literally like takes you through the decades too.
That's perfect. I love it. That's perfect. I chose Anna from Frozen
Oh
because
yeah,
she's just like trying to remember all the cool things her sister did before she ditched her.
she's always longing for what it used to be.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, for the first time in forever. So she's been thinking about
Aw.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Poor thing. All right. And we.
Ooh, boredom,
So
lack
this
of
one,
interest.
I picked Rapunzel actually because she's got to be bored. She's just stuck in a tower her whole life. She's got to be bored. Sometimes, though, you know, if you don't know what you're missing, maybe it's not so bad. But I just feel like she has to be bored at some point in that tower or whatever.
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
And she's had like you said, she's fearful. So she's had that window. I don't think it has a real window or any locks or doors on it. She's had ways to get out, and she just has not even explored it. She's
Yeah.
bored. She's
Nope.
not even doesn't even have
Nope.
the motivation.
Just gonna stay here. I have everything here on my painted
Yep.
walls. For Ennui, I'm gonna say Hades from Hercules, the villain, and not like his whole personality, but there's a lot of times where he's animated in a way where he couldn't care less about anything. Like he'll be like, it looks like he's like filing his nails, like, do I have to be bothered again to help with this thing that my
Right.
minions couldn't have solved on their own? Um, so that's what makes me think of that like lack of interest type of thing.
Right. That's a good one.
Hades, yeah. Ooh, that was fun.
Yeah, so we made it through all the emotions for that level. Now we're going to move on to what Disney park attraction makes you feel the following emotions.
Ooh, I like
So
this.
let's
Makes
go
you
down the
feel it.
same list. Yeah,
Okay.
and then which ones make you feel a certain way. These ones are a little hard for me, I'm going to say, because I feel like a lot of them land on number one, which is joy.
Joy. For joy, I will immediately say Guardians of the Galaxy,
What?
Cosmic Rewind. Uh,
This
it
is funny.
makes me smile, and it gives me all the emotions depending on what song it is, and I always leave there with like almost tears of joy, if not actual tears. And I just keep thinking, oh my god, I feel so much joy. Like it makes me feel like a giddy little baby being tossed in the air. Love that ride.
Okay, so this is really interesting because I also picked Guardians of the Galaxy. However, I picked Mission Breakout in
Ooh,
DCA. So they're doing good with these Guardian
yeah,
attractions, right?
yeah.
And also I quoted Morgan here because she said it shakes the giggles out of you. And the Imagineers also said that. And they said the idea of throwing a
The
baby in the air.
baby. Oh
That's
my
so
god.
funny.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
they've did a good job with these Guardians rides because they're just like pure fun and they make you smile and laugh. And there's something about layering on the rock and roll music that just is the icing on the cake.
Yeah, they picked that certain era of rock that like it doesn't
Timeless.
lean too hard on any of the like
Yeah.
areas that some people might not like. It's just easygoing, and makes you feel things still. Ugh,
Wow,
that one
Marvel
song.
won both of our joy answers to Disney park
Isn't that
attractions.
crazy?
Wow, yeah.
Crazy. I went through a whole thing with this one. I was like trying to think of it. I was driving for like 45 minutes. I think I thought of it the whole way home just for joy. I was like, wait, they all do. That's like the whole reason I enjoy Disney parks, right? Is because it constantly invokes joy out of me. But like, why can I not just pick one? And then I was like, you know what? Guardians always like will take anybody in any mood. Everyone comes out like just beaming with smiles, unless they're scared of drops, and then that's a whole other issue. But
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you didn't have fun on that, you're a curmudgeon. It's just such a fun
right,
ride. Yeah, both of
right.
them.
It's such a good ride. Both of them, both of the Guardian attractions. Crazy. All right, sadness. And then like polar
Luminous.
opposite,
Oh
right?
yeah, I have my answer. Luminous, the Symphony of Us at Epcot. It made me cry. It touches on it plays songs and it with the narration about family members and loved ones who have passed on, and then it plays Remember Me. Like, how can you not
Oh,
just
stop.
lose it when that happens? So yeah, that really got me. And that's a pretty new show too.
Got it. I picked an extinct attraction, Golden Dreams in
Oh.
California Adventure. This was when I was living in Arizona, and I think this is the only time I could really picture an attraction that really made me sad, and I would get very homesick going on the Golden
Oh.
attraction or Golden what?
Golden Dream, starring
Golden
Whoopi
Dreams.
Goldberg,
Thank you. I
right?
just lost
Yeah.
it. Huh?
Whoopi Goldberg was in it.
Whoopi Goldberg, who is Kala something. She has some like cool name. She's like a god,
I
I
think the
think.
goddess that California was named after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm not even gonna try it.
I think it's a milk also now. Califia? Actually, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I
Is
think
it?
that's it.
Right?
And
Yeah.
I think every time I see a commercial for that, I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
Golden
that's
Dreams.
right.
But yeah, it would really make me like, man, California is amazing. And I'd get all sad because I had
Oh,
moved to Arizona. It definitely brought sadness right out of me. Next up, anger, another one. I don't really know very many
anger.
attractions that make me angry.
Hmm. Okay, I'm going to pick one and I'll explain why. Expedition Everest, because every time I get off, I'm like, oh, they haven't fixed freaking Disco Yeti yet. And I've never been able to ride it with the working Yeti. I've never
Oh,
ridden it, so I always get a little mad about that, and I have to tell somebody, especially if it's their first time. I have to explain to them what they missed, which is
yeah.
just kind of rude because now I'm telling them that they missed something. Um, but the other reason I picked it is because we invaded the mountain, and he's angry at us, and that's why he attacks us. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Goes both ways. All right. I could only think of one time that I ever felt, and I don't know if anger is correct because that's a strong emotion, but I was like maybe more annoyed, but I guess it'd be the closest to anger was the what is it called there? I think it's just the Enchanted Tiki Room under new management though.
Ooh, yep.
And the reason why is during the under new management spiel, they constantly make fun of the tiki room. Like they just make fun of it. And I was like, what the heck is this? Whose idea was it to come up with this thing that just bashes on the original one, which was like Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, right? So not only are they bashing on the original one, but old school Disney and Walt Disney himself. So it's like, man,
Shame.
that's a tough thing somebody chose to like get going on that attraction.
Well, good thing it burned down so that they could put
Yeah.
back the old one.
Someone else was real angry,
Very
see? They
angry
burned the
about it.
whole place down. Maybe it was that tiki god. What was her name? I forget her name too, but she was part of that show.
Angry.
Ooh. All right, disgust.
Disgust. Wait, we forgot fear.
We did. Sorry,
Fear.
fear.
Fear. I'm gonna go with classic haunted mansion. Not that I'm personally scared by it, but that's like the theme is like spooky
Yeah.
and scary.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm doing kind of the same. I'm going with the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Ooh, that one's good. That one's good and does create fear for people, even for me, like my stomach dropping.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Guardians took over in California Adventure, and that one doesn't. I mean, it'll scare people for the throws, but it's like if you're okay with drops, you're actually just getting shocked and having fun. It doesn't really feel like any part of it because the music softens the
Yeah.
blow, right? But Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, they're making it seem like your elevator is broken and about to drop, all the lights go off. Like they're really trying.
Suspenseful. Yeah.
Yes, they're very much so trying to scare you. All right, disgust.
Disgust. Turkey leg. Is that an attraction?
It is of its own. I mean,
That's all I could think of.
so one of the things I find most disgusting about turkey legs is the smell. And
Which is
that's
like
why
a
I
ham.
picked Journey into Imagination with Figment because he
Yeah.
farts and you have to
Yeah.
smell it. Or I
That's
think
a
they've
good one.
now changed it to a
Skunk.
skunk farting.
Skunk. Yep. If it
But
works, don't get me angry
exactly.
when it doesn't work. But yeah, that's a good one.
There you go.
Disgust. Ugh.
Alrighty. Anxiety.
Anxiety. Hmm. Okay, this is no. I don't want to taint it. I'll tell you what I was thinking, which was I was going to say Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind again because I'm always anxious to find out what song it's going to be because it makes the emotion different.
Yes.
And there's certain ones that I want. And so I'm still happy either way, but all the way up to boarding the car, I'm like wondering what I'm going to get. So that's the first thing that came to mind with anxiety.
Okay. I picked kind of the same ideas. Like what makes me anxious is mission space. And
Ooh.
it's because I never know if I'm going to get sick or not at this point.
Yeah,
Can I handle this ride
fair enough.
anymore? Like going orange or green, I don't know.
I'm trying to think. One that I would really say truly embodies anxiety is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Like the whole thing is just frantic
It
and
is.
you don't know what's going to
It's a good one.
happen. You literally crash into a train at one point when the driving goes chaotic and then you go to hell.
Literally a wild
Yeah.
ride.
Yeah.
And then you go to hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Envy.
Envy. Basically anything Tokyo Disney Sea.
Oh, right.
The entire
Yes,
park. I'm just like, why don't we have all these cool things?
it
Especially
is
their
true.
new fantasy port that they added, Fantasy Springs. Wow.
Ooh, I'm so excited to see that. I picked Rise of the Resistance because I really wish I
Ooh.
could have worked on it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I just think about like how cool it would have been to put that all together and have the like whole 360 design elements to it. Like that would have been so fun to build and
So
create.
many moving parts, literally.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
100%. All right, this is a weird one. Embarrassment.
Kite Tails,
Oh,
Animal Kingdom, Disney World 50th, the
that was
Kite
quick.
Show, right? That was an embarrassing moment for Disney and anyone
That
who
is
was
an
watching it.
embarrassment.
And the kites were embarrassed. They were crash diving into the lake.
It
Oh my
was
goodness.
hilarious. It was embarrassing. Like that's the
Yeah.
best word for that.
Yikes.
I put Space Mountain
Oh.
and or any other ride that makes you get out quickly. Because
Oh, and you're like fumbling.
yeah, because the people are just staring at you and you get embarrassed and like it gets to the point now where I know it's coming and I try to prep like Matterhorn too. Like Matterhorn, I'll like put my feet and like scoot my butt up a certain way, like in the chair to like get out as quickly as possible because I just know it's gonna be chaos and people are gonna be staring at me while I'm doing it. So those are the ones that embarrass me and or ones that make me fall, I think, but we'll get to that later. Um, yeah, embarrassment. Let's see. Nostalgia.
Nostalgia. There, there's so many answers for this one, right? At
Yeah,
least in
I
my
mean,
mind. I'm going to say, I'm going to go with one of my favorite rides at Disneyland, Storybook Canal Boats. Yeah,
oh,
it's such a classic ride. It's one of those rides that were featured like in those old hardcover paper books of like Disneyland. They'd always make sure to show that. And it goes through all of like the Disney animated films over time. And even ones that are not, well, yeah, it has like what, Three Little Pigs? It has like a lot of like old school stuff
yeah,
and
yeah,
new
it
ones,
does.
they added Arendelle too. But yeah, I would say that one.
Okay, it's a good one. For this one, I just picked Haunted Mansion because that's the one that sticks with me the most about being excited to go to Disneyland when I was young. Haunted Mansion. So I picked
Classic.
that one for that
Yeah.
one. And then, and we.
Let's see. Mm, Country Bear Jamboree.
Oh, that's a burn to me, and I'll burn you right back with living with the land. Thank you very
Oof.
much.
Oof. Yeah, I get it. Totally fair. Totally fair. Just go there when you're bored or you need to sit. And yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Um, we just jabbed at each other. That's hilarious. I like it. Where's the emotion for that? For
Oh,
jabbing
jabs,
at each other.
jabs. Um, I don't know.
I don't even know what that's considered. Like poking the bear. It's that
Tease?
emotion.
No. Yeah, poking the bear. Um, I'm not sure.
But living with Lana, I'm also poking a lot of people's bears, so that's
Yeah.
okay. And you're literally poking the bear with Country Bear Jamboree, so
Oh,
thanks for that.
MG. Dun-dun-dun. That was
You're
a good one.
poking the country bear.
Poking the country bear. And I'm probably one of the few like Disney holics, I would say, that is like really looking forward to the new version. Whereas most people are like, I hope they don't screw it up. I'm like, come on, bring on the new songs. Let's do it.
I'm excited for the new songs. I just don't want it to be too polished. I saw that. I was excited about it until I saw that video recently with that woman, that country singer woman singing, and she just sounded too good. I'm like,
Yeah.
ah,
To
country bear's supposed
current,
to be
right? To
campy, not like all pretty and
yeah.
polished. I don't know. So we'll see. I'm sure they're gonna do at least a little bit of each, maybe. We'll see how it
I
goes.
mean, it is jarring to hear a Shakira Zootopia song because that's so new, relatively new, and then
Right.
a polished country singer singing it. Yeah, I could see that because it's
Yeah.
supposed to be Trixie. Does that sound like it's coming out
No.
of Trixie's mouth? Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean, I guess if anyone in that attraction, it would come out of Trixie. She is the most polished out of everyone on the whole
Right.
ride. However, like she's kind of debutante, right? She's kind of like the
Yeah.
fancy one.
All right. All right. Little diva
All right. We'll
in the
see what they
making.
do. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's the one fancy voice. And I have one other section that we'll run through real quick because we are getting up on time already. I thought these would fly through. Mike and I always have this with our episodes. We're like, we're not gonna fill time, and here we are again at the hour mark already.
Such a good topic. Emotions. Yeah, I
I
love
love
it.
it. I know, we have feelings too. All right, we need to talk about them. So this last one, I just kind of made up a few different fun questions around each, or one question around each um emotion that I was just kind of curious about, or I wanted to discuss that I thought would be fun. So first off is joy. And I said, what is something about Disney parks that is guaranteed to bring you absolute joy every time? Like, what do you know you can do that'll just make you joyful?
I would say
Consistency.
as simple as taking the step onto Main Street. Yeah.
Ah,
Whether it's Disneyland or Magic Kingdom, it's just like,
it's very true. Very
I'm
true.
here. Yeah. All my troubles are gone.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, we're here, we're checking in now. Yeah, because all the rest is stressful. The flights, the hotel, everything gets like busy. And then all of a sudden you step on Main Street, you're like, all right, this is
Yeah.
it.
You're transported. It's like Truman Show. Like everything comes to life
Yeah,
just for you.
yeah,
It feels like it's special.
right.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how Walt Disney wanted that to feel, right? You're walking into a movie set. Like that's awesome that that makes you feel that. It's literally
Yay.
what he wanted. That's so cool. I put the Disneyland band
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah.
quintessential Disney makes me very happy. And I started realizing while I was writing this, I was like, you know what? My whole time growing up, I think I got to it when I was doing the nostalgia part of this section, where I was like, to me, nostalgia isn't actually Main Street USA because I never really spent a lot of time watching the band and doing stuff on Main Street. I kind of ran past it and did a lot of Disneyland. Now, it does feel quintessential Disney, and it's probably the most familiar thing to me that feels Disneyland is Main Street. But that's not where I spent a lot of my time until recently. I spent so much time now on Main Street for the last like 10 years. It's just like I don't even want to leave. Sometimes I don't even leave Main Street. I'll just go there for like 4 hours and then leave the park. So, you know, it's because it brings me that joy though. All right, sadness.
Mm.
Have you cried during a Disney film? And if so, which one? And do you remember the first time that you cried during a Disney film? Or an ugly cry? You
Gosh.
can share either
I would
or both.
say, like, especially as an adult, ugly cry, I would say Toy Story 3
Mm-hmm.
really did it for me. And it was like we were like aligned age-wise too with what they were trying to say you should
Yeah,
feel when
yeah.
you let go of I'm gonna cry just thinking about it. Just letting go of who you used to be, but trying to keep what brings you joy as an adult, like keep that going. But like you have to let go of your toys and playthings. And I even push back on that. I mean, I think Disney holics, we are children at heart, and I
Mhm.
refuse to give that up. But what Andy was going through, and then the toys having to experience it, oh, yeah, it was. And I remember there's a scene too where it looked like they were all going to get burned and melted. And going through my head, I thought, oh, wow, Pixar's going there. They're just going to melt them all.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
scary and sad. I was like, ah, yeah, that one got me. And then one more I'm going to sneak in is Coco. Another
Oh
ugly
my
cry on that one.
stop. I
When,
can't with
yeah,
that.
especially at
Ugh,
the end when then he sings to the grandma just a cappella. Oh my God.
every time. Ugly cry. I was trying to think of the one that I cried in first. I think it might have been Little Mermaid, but
Mm.
the one that I first thought of was also more recent, and it was the first Inside Out. In that
Oh,
scene with
yeah.
Bing Bong, I wasn't ready for it. I
Yep.
didn't know it was coming. They surprised me. Like I didn't see it coming for whatever reason. And I like ugly cried. Like I was into that movie.
Well, and they made you fall in love with that character, and then they ripped him away.
Yeah.
Um,
And
there
then he
was
like
a
sacrificed himself. Stop.
oh, fun fact from the director. So a lot of people are asking, and this is not a spoiler either. They're like, "Why didn't you bring Bing Bong back? Like he's not in the story at all." And he said the first filmmakers did such a good job with making us feel the way we felt when he had to leave, and it was also part of Riley's story. And he said it would be an insult to the character and to the filmmakers if you just magically brought him back because it's a sequel.
Agreed.
And I
Agreed.
was like, thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
just
yeah,
because of what? What did you say?
just because it's a sequel, like assuming he has to
Yeah.
come back, it
Or
would just
because he's
ruin it.
popular, people liked him.
Yeah.
Like we don't have like I mean, most of us didn't have imaginary friends anymore at the time of teenage years,
Oh,
right? So it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm glad they didn't, even though I love very much so love Bing Bong, poor guy.
yeah. Oh.
Okay, anger. What is something that really pisses you off that guests do in Disneyland?
Oh God, so many things. I'll just say coughing.
Coughing.
Like I'm making a face that makes me make a disgust face.
Disgust.
And I'll eyeball them. And it's only gotten worse during the pandemic. Nobody has learned how to properly cough into your elbow or whatever. And yeah, and it's just I can't.
So coughing is your number one. Mine is people being inconsiderate of other people's experiences, like
Oh,
whether anything, like stopping in the middle of the road, using a flashlight on a ride,
oof. Light on the
like
ride. Yeah, that's
just where they don't care. And sometimes it's hard for me because, like, you'll see like teenage like kids having a blast and are being really loud and totally oblivious to people around them. I write that one off because they're young, but like when adults are doing that, it's like, come
yeah.
on, like there's if you had your whole own set, like that's fine. But I'm also here and I'm also trying to enjoy it. I'm not worried about me, but I'm more worried about the people that are only there once every few years. They'll never know what that ride is like again, you know? Like, come on. Just
Anger. I was just watching yesterday someone's live stream at Disneyland, like a TikToker, adult with his adult friends, but younger, 20s or something. And they were live streaming the entire Guardians of the Galaxy mission breakout. And then they were going through the queue in the boiler room, and they said that Harold the Yeti was a Star Wars character
oh,
from
this
Star
is
Wars.
okay. I can don't even get me started on that.
I was like, what is going on? And then he kept saying, yeah, it's the same one that you can see in Galaxy's Edge in the lightsaber shop. And I'm like, oh my God, I think it's a Wampa, right? And like from
Oh
Hoth.
my God.
And then so I passive aggressively wrote in the comments, pretending like I just joined. I was like, did you see Harold from the Matterhorn yet?
Stupid.
And then he corrected himself. He went back and he told his friends, like, oh, that's actually Harold from the Matterhorn. So it's not the one in Galaxy's Edge. So he did that. But then it gets worse. He said, yeah, I'm going to live stream the entire ride. And I kept commenting, please do not do that. Please do not do that. If I was a guest on the elevator with you, I'd be very upset. And he would keep reading every comment out loud, including mine, except the anytime I wrote that.
He'd skip over it
Yeah.
conveniently.
And then I purposely left. the stream right before, but I'm sure he ended up just doing it. That's so obnoxious. Imagine behind someone and their phones on the light. I hate it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anger.
Anger. See? Gotta be considerate. It is
Yeah.
100%. Like, just, ugh, yeah, I can't stand that either. Next one is fear. Describe your scariest ride experience.
I'm gonna say it's a defunct ride, but Maliboomer at DCA.
Oh,
Yeah, any
okay.
drop ride still gets me. I like it. I'll still ride
I
it.
didn't even know this about you.
But yeah, I don't like I don't like it. I'll still ride it because I like a thrill. But of all the types of theme park rides, those will still always get me.
I feel like that one is also, we know too many real life situations that have gone on with those like
Yeah.
carnival ride version of that. Yeah. Um, I was originally going to say Goofy Sky School because I feel like I'm going to fly
Yeah.
out of it
Yes.
literally every turn it takes, which is constant. But I changed it to, that's my Disney one. And then I also have to give a credit to Velocicoaster because I've never once
Yeah.
feared for my life until I rode Velocicoaster.
You thought you were for sure gonna fly out.
I was I was
Yeah.
I was planning my land as if I could even possibly survive.
Like, what are you gonna do? That's like a nightmare. Like an
It was
actual nightmare.
crazy.
Like, how are you gonna hang on? I mean, they do a really good job making you feel not strapped in. It's just a really tiny, soft little lap bar, and that's it.
And Mike is
But
in front of me,
yeah.
like flailing his body around on purpose because he knows he can. And I'm sitting back there for the first time on it, being like, I'm going to die. I've never sat out a ride in my entire life, I don't think. I sat that one out the next 2 times you guys went on, I sat it out.
Nope.
I was like, I'm good for a bit. Fear for you.
Just that Maliboomer. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Malibu.
yeah,
Sorry,
Malibu.
yes. That's
It
right.
is a left field one, and it's gone.
I mean, I picked a couple defunct things throughout this too, so it's all good. Disgust. Create a gross Disneyland snack combination.
um, I'm gonna say a a pickle. I like the pickles. I know you don't. The big dill pickle, but dipped in churro cinnamon seasoning.
Oh God. For some reason, I think that would be okay because people like pickles with peanut butter, which is the first thing I thought of, but that's not me creating anything because they already have it. That pickle corn dog thing they do with the peanut butter dip.
Oh, weird. Okay, I think I might like that. I'll try.
Oh
I would try it.
God. Oh God. And I kind of went the same way with this. However, I went with a Bengal barbecue skewer, which is already has all of the goo all over it, and then dip it in one of the churro dips that come like the icing. Just thought
Oh,
it would be like
hmm.
disgusting. Like that other kind of sweet with the other kind of sweet that are not working together would just make me nauseous. Can't do it.
I would try it because it's so mismatched that
Yeah.
I'd want to know what happens.
It could be like one of those things that's amazing, like
Yeah.
chocolate and like people dip their fries in shakes and stuff like
Oh, there you
that.
go.
Like you never
Wendy's
know.
fries and Frosties. You have to do
That's
it.
the best. It's the best. I'm gonna get some right after we record this.
Mm.
Let's see what else we have here. Anxiety. What is something that happens while you are visiting a Disneyland park that always gives you anxiety?
I would say it's any type of river raft ride. So there's one at DCA and one at Animal Kingdom because you never know how wet you're gonna get. And
I
anytime, right, you approach it,
totally,
it's like, is it
totally.
gonna spin on my side? Is it gonna? And then your back gets all wet.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
totally. That's a great one. I love that. I put having a tough crowd or mixing friends. Now, and
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
speaking of emotions, we all have too many emotions now as adults, and sometimes you have the wrong group of people, and it could ruin everybody's day. So I'm always like very anxious about how that will go.
yeah. There's definitely been times, whether it's crowd or the group, where I'm just ready to call it a day because the
Yeah,
anxiety
yeah.
is just that high.
All right, we need a timeout. Envy. Name something that you currently envy within the Disney community.
Ooh, all the those podcasters and influencers that get invites to all these like openings and
Hmm.
social media previews, definitely envious of that.
I am. I put the same, but I also specified Club 33 because I feel like Everyone but us has gone to Club 33 in the last couple years.
True.
What's going on here?
Yeah, at least we got to step into the exclusiveness of it once or several times for you. I just went once.
Right. Was that only one time with you? That was
Yeah,
in like
long
2000.
time
You know that,
ago.
right? That was so long
Yeah,
ago. I was thinking
and
about that earlier.
definitely envious of the members. Like we're just like peasants that get
Yes.
invited along. But imagine being a member. Wow.
I know. So cool. They have so many special events for them too. Must be so fun. Um, and we.
Hmm. Yeah. So like
Oh,
moments
I'm
of
sorry. I
boredom.
keep
Yeah.
skipping. I'm so used to like going through just these emotions, but these are actually questions with this one. Ennui. People often believe us Disney holics will suffer from ennui when visiting Disney parks, as we often do. So people are just like, how do you keep going? Doesn't it get boring, right? People always think that. So have you had a moment where this actually happened? If not, why do you think you haven't?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think it has ever happened. There's times where I've gotten homesick, like if I'm on a long
I've gotten
cruise,
homesick
right?
too.
Disney
Hmm.
World for a long trip, but I'm not bored or uninterested at Disney. So I think the reason why is because both you and I have learned how to be AP brains and just like take it easy. And
Hmm.
so when you do that, you're having a good time and you don't want to leave at all. And you know
Right.
everything's at your fingertips. And we always like to leave stuff for the next time. So there's something to
Hmm.
look forward to. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Same here. I still have yet to have been bored in Disneyland. I think, I mean, a lot of that is what you said too, but I think a lot of it also comes down to the design and the amount of detail. There's just like, there's always something new. Like it never, like it could be as small as like reading a plaque, but it's something you can learn. You can find new things. You can look at something in a different way. Like it just feels like it's constant that you can always go there. And plus now being Disney holics, we go so often that it feels like this is now a comfort too, to where
Yeah.
sometimes you're not bored at home, even though you're not really doing anything, right? But it's like your comfort. So you don't feel boredom or ennui in that
I
situation.
would say I anytime I do feel ennui in life, the first thing I think of is I need to go to Disney.
Right.
That's the
Yeah. Yeah.
solution for it. It's not the cause. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That's perfect. I love that. All right, embarrassment. What is your embarrassing or your most embarrassing Disney parks moment?
I just know of times of other people, but not myself. I'm so yeah. What would you say for that one?
You're lucky you don't have any. I have so many. But I'm going to put falling at the top of the list. I have fallen at least 3 times pretty dramatically where I've ended up in first aid after kind of stuff. Like, not cute. I fell down the stairs coming out of Tower of Terror. I ended up in the ER wearing a shirt that says I'd rather be in Disneyland, which is hilarious. Um, and I fell getting out of Radiator Springs once, and Big Thunder while waving at a cast member because it was a walk off, like the ride broke down, and this cast member, I was trying to be real good and watch where I'm walking, like they're instructing us, but then they're like all excited and waving, so I was staring at a cast member waving at him, and then I fell.
Oh my gosh, how
Ugh,
embarrassing.
super embarrassing.
The first thing I thought of was you falling Radiator Springs. I remember when you told me that story. And you're
Yeah,
a
when I
solo
tripped,
rider
I
too,
got
right?
like stuck in my
You're a solo rider also, right? It's like by
solo
yourself.
rider. I got, my backpack
Loser.
strap, total loser. My backpack strap got like stuck on the seatbelt, and then it created like a like trip line or whatever, you know. So I like fell out of there and then the side of the car is about a foot off the ground, so it went straight onto my knees onto the outside on the cement. It was bad news bears. I was like in the first day with ice packs on my knees. I thought I like cracked something. Luckily, nothing happened. I just was like really hurt for a couple hours and
My
then
goodness.
bruised for like a week.
Yeah, there's something about, especially being by yourself, that makes things more embarrassing for some
Yeah,
reason.
so much. I'm already the loser as by
Yeah.
myself. And then I do something that everybody's staring at. Plus, I'm pretty sure like my butt crack was showing like when I like like my pants got stuck down. I don't know. It was just
Oh my
not
gosh,
cute
the
altogether.
emotion of embarrassment, and you can kind of see it in the images. He's designed so his butt crack shows.
Oh no.
That's perfect that you chose that one. The only other thing I could think of Disney parks is when I wave at a character and they don't wave back. It's usually on a float, and it's usually like Peter Pan, Aladdin, or Flynn Rider, and I
The
feel
all
loaded.
the hot guys, right?
Yeah, I'm like denied, denied.
Oh my god, especially these are very Disney holic like adults. Like it wouldn't be so bad if you're a little kid, but
Yes,
as an adult,
exactly.
it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Another loser moment.
Loser. All right, nostalgia. What is your oldest memory of Disneyland? And I also wanted to know what's your oldest memory with me?
Ooh. I would say one of my old memories that's fond of Disneyland is when Indiana Jones opened in the 90s, because that's when I would go down to LA a lot in the Bay Area and stay with my cousins for the summer. And I remember when that ride opened, we kept going back to Disneyland just for that ride. And we would wait 3 hours for that
Wow.
inside the claustrophobic caverns because
Wow.
it would break down a lot. But the whole thing was fun, just like hanging
Back
out
then.
and talking. My uncle, rest in peace, is not here anymore, but he was the one who always took us. So
Oh,
yeah, that's very nostalgic.
that's awesome. My oldest memory of Disneyland is definitely Adventure Through Inner Space. I can't remember it super clearly, but I definitely remember pieces of it. And I had to be 5 or 6. So like I was super little. That's the furthest I can date back remembering Disneyland for sure. And then I
Oh, and
think
then
with
with
you,
three.
we were talking about this earlier, I think is the Club 33 trip, probably 2000, 2001.
Oh, gosh, that's like 20 plus years now ago. That was a good trip. And that was actually, well, I'm trying to think. I was going to say that was a good mix of people, but it actually wasn't because I think my mom and our friend Danielle had a spat on
Was
Main
that same
Street.
trip?
It
Was it?
was, yeah, because I
Oh
remember
my
my parents,
gosh.
they rarely like came with the box of friends places. And they came, but they didn't go into Club 33. And I remember waving to them from one of the windows or something. And my mom still talks about it. She's like, remember that time you went? Blah, blah, blah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Super cute.
That's a good memory. I would say, and one of the old memories too was we talked about it on a previous episode, but the when we did the Headhunters Mouse Adventure for the first time. Yeah,
Aw.
I think that was the first time anyone, and it was you specifically, like introduced me to the fact that there's more community that's unofficial that is
Oh,
just
okay.
as amazing and fun. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Mouse Adventure just put out that they are doing another one like a week after D23. Mike should come out to say.
Dun, dun.
He's like, that moving on.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, that wraps up our emotional roller coasters. Thank you for traveling and riding on these roller coasters with me today, Mike. I hope to post about some of this on Instagram because I want to hear all of your emotions as well. So if you
Yeah,
want to
these are
join
good ones.
along, sharing your emotions about what we talked about today, keep an eye out for some stories popping up on our page. And then what we talked about today, going through all of our emotions, a whole bunch of different avenues going down with Disney characters, park attractions, and just other random things that pop up these emotions while we're in the park, as well as an inside out spoiler free review from Mike because he got to see it
Can't wait.
already.
Can't wait to hear your rating when you watch it. Well, thank you
Yes.
everybody for listening. We hope you enjoyed episode 194 of the Disney Holic Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disney Holics.
And if you want to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.